Marcus Chen slumped in the back row of Combat Applications 301, trying to make himself invisible as Professor Vexthera announced the day's sparring matches. Around him, his classmates, towering Coraxians with their chitinous armor, graceful ethereals who could phase through matter, and hulking Gravari whose dense bones could crush steel, prepared for battle with the casual confidence of apex predators. Chen, Marcus, the insectoid professor clicked her mandibles, scanning the roster on her holographic display. "You'll face Zephon today." A collective murmur rippled through the amphitheater. Zephon, a 7-foot Coraxian warrior caste, flexed his natural blade arms with what Marcus had learned to recognize as amusement. In the 3 months since the Galactic Defense Academy had begun accepting lesser species, like humans, Marcus had become something of a running joke. He'd failed every physical examination. His reflexes ranked in the bottom percentile. His strength output barely registered on equipment designed for galactic standards. The other cadets whispered that Earth's admission to the Academy was merely political theater, a token gesture to humanity's persistence rather than recognition of any actual combat potential. Marcus descended to the practice ring, ignoring the snickers from the viewing platforms. The neural inhibitor crown settled onto his head, designed to prevent permanent injury by limiting the participants to 20% of their natural abilities. For most species, this was a significant handicap. For Marcus, it was barely noticeable. "Begin when ready," Professor Vexthera announced. Zephon lunged forward with practiced efficiency, his blade arms whistling through the air where Marcus had been standing a split second before. The human rolled awkwardly to one side, earning a few chuckles from the audience. This was the pattern of every match. Marcus would dodge desperately for a few minutes before inevitably being cornered and defeated. But today felt different. Maybe it was the crushing weight of 3 months of humiliation, or perhaps the letter he'd received from home describing his younger sister's excitement about her hero brother in space. Something inside Marcus shifted, like a dam finally giving way to overwhelming pressure. As Zephon pressed his attack, Marcus found himself moving differently. His awkward dodges became fluid evasions. His defensive postures transformed into calculating observations. For the first time since arriving at the Academy, Marcus stopped thinking about the inhibitor crown as a minor inconvenience. He thought about what it was actually inhibiting. Humans, Marcus realized, weren't like other species. Coraxians were born with blade arms and natural armor. Ethereals could manipulate quantum fields instinctively. Gravari possessed bones denser than titanium from birth. But humans? Humans were born with something far more dangerous, the ability to ignore their own limitations. On Earth, human mothers had lifted cars off their trapped children. Soldiers had fought for days with mortal wounds. Athletes had pushed their bodies beyond what medical science said was possible. The human nervous system wasn't designed for safety, it was designed to break its own rules when survival was at stake. The inhibitor crown wasn't limiting Marcus to 20% of his natural abilities. It was limiting him to 20% of what his nervous system was willing to admit he could do. Marcus stopped holding back what he thought were his limitations and started holding back what he actually was. Zephon's next attack met empty air as Marcus moved with inhuman speed, his hand striking nerve clusters that dropped the Coraxian warrior like a stone. The amphitheater fell silent. "Impossible," Professor Vexthera whispered, checking her instruments. "The inhibitor is functioning normally." Marcus looked up at his classmates, seeing something new in their expressions, the dawning realization that they had fundamentally misunderstood what humans were capable of. The Academy's tests measured natural physical gifts, genetic advantages, and evolutionary specializations. They had never thought to test for the one thing that made humans truly terrifying in the galaxy, their absolute refusal to accept that anything was actually impossible. "The inhibitor is working perfectly," Marcus said quietly, helping the stunned Zephon to his feet. "It's just that you never understood what it was inhibiting." In the weeks that followed, as word spread throughout the galactic community about the human breakthrough, Marcus would reflect on the irony. His species hadn't hidden their true power out of deception or strategy. They simply hadn't realized that what they considered normal was, by galactic standards, completely insane. And that, perhaps, was the most human thing of all.